Welcome back to another video brought to you by your one and only Literary Pharaoh.
Baby, I wish it were different. My words, my visions, our world beginning. Now it is splitting in two. Even when I think I suffer.
No, the name of this song is called Lovesick. And if you listen to the beat, it's like a heartbeat. When somebody is sick, about to die, you hear the boom, boom. Listen. It's subtle. It's in the background. It's a heartbeat. This song it's not even a song, guys. This song, actually, it's an experience to me. I love this song, Lovesick, by Mariah the Scientist. Just a lovesick. Think about the times I cried. You're making the music over. By my side. About it every night. But count the days, I just can't seem to find all the words I need to say. My heart is a body dancing. My heart is my defense. I'm just a lovesick. And I'm on the fence, and I'm in your skin. It's endless, all this pain persists. I'm just a lovesick. Hear the heartbeat. Yeah, man, it's like somebody, she's about to die, man. She's lovesick. That heart, it has a slow beat. She's hanging on by a thread, man. About to flatline over this.
Baby, I wish it were different. My words, my visions, our world beginning. Now it is splitting in two. Even when I think I suffer, I think I get kicked to mother. And I have to come in a lover. And I think of how it must feel to be yours. Nobody gets it. My heart is my defense. I'm just a lovesick. So that we can be when I'm searching, and I'm on the fence, distant, and I'm in your skin. How the pain persists. I'm just a lovesick. I think of all the times I've been lonesome, and I think of all the times I cried. You know I really could have used that shoulder. You know I really need you by my side. You know I think about it every night, and I can't help but count the days. You know I just can't seem to find all the words I need to say. My heart is nobody gets it. My heart is my defense. I'm just a lovesick. So that we can face this. And I'm searching, and I'm on the fence, distant, and I'm in your skin. It's endless, all this pain.
song is called Lovesick by Mariah the Scientist. And I tell you what, man, the song, it's emotional, man. It's a powerful song, and I don't know, that maybe it hits different with me because it just takes me back to my youth. We're all looking for love in one way or another, and a lot of us don't have love to give, so we end up not getting what we don't have because life is centered around what you put out. The type of energy you put out is basically the kind of energy you're going to get back in return. So if you give love, you get love. If you give hate, you get hate. If you give misery, you get misery. If you give sorrow, you get sorrow. So what you center your life around based upon the emotional temperament that you choose to walk in consistently, that by and large part is going to dictate what you get back in return, even though you might be doing it inadvertently. You may not be doing it intentionally. I don't think people wake up in the morning saying, I'm going to be hateful today so I can get hate. A lot of people hate a lot of things in their lives, and they live in that energy. And if you live in that energy of disdain or this hate, then you're going to continue to get that around you. But if you continue to focus on the positive things around you, and you look for the better things in life, and always looking at life from a cup half full perspective versus a cup half empty perspective, then you sort of get what you put out. And I think that song, it resonates with me because growing up as a child, even in my teenage years, I've always just sought love, man. And I know it probably sounds cheesy to some of y'all, like seeking love. Oh, that's but we all seek it. And when I say seek it, I'm talking about love from the opposite sex. I'm not talking about the type of love you have for your brother and sister, your mother and father. I'm talking about love, seeking that thing that people call soulmates. Even though I don't believe in soulmates, I believe that you create the soulmate. You meet different people in life, and who you choose to make your partner, who you choose to live with, who you choose to label as your significant other, if you consider that person your soulmate, it's not something that happens by itself. You have to put in the work to actually create the mate and the soul, right? You get a mate, but the soul part is done intentionally with the work you put in. I don't believe that you just meet people, oh my God, you're my soulmate. That's too fictional. That's too fairy tale like. That doesn't happen in real life. Now you may connect with people. You may connect with a person and say, "Oh my God, this person's my soulmate." But I think that people use that symbolically to say that I met somebody that fits me. But even when you meet somebody that fits you in the beginning, when the flames are rising high and you're in that honeymoon phase, there comes a time in every relationship where you're gonna go through a tough patch, and that tough patch that you go through is gonna test the strength or the potency of your relationship. So if your relationship isn't strong and you haven't put in the work to cultivate that type of strength in your relationship, then your relationship is gonna be easily broken. So yeah, when you meet somebody at first, it's, oh my God, I met this guy, or oh my God, I met this girl, she's this, she's that, or he's this and he's that. That's the beginning stages. But life comes at us, man. Life happens, and lives, and you can tell a lot about a person when things are not going well. That's when the real character of a person is evident, not when things are well. So that song just resonates with me, man. It takes me back, man. Just when I was young, you're lovesick. I mean, I had a very, very strong attraction to women, man. And to be honest with you guys, like I did. But it wasn't lustful though. That's the thing. Like I didn't have bodies like you guys talk about. Like I didn't sleep around like that though. I had many people who would tell me, oh man, this girl wants you, but I've always sought, I guess you can say the soulmate part. Like I wanted to connect with somebody that I knew that I could connect with. Not just any random girl that just sleeps around with everybody. Like, what good is it to me to entertain a girl who sleeps around with different guys. Like that never, I never liked that. And I think that me being a thinker and me always in a state of reflection, I was never put in a position where I felt that I needed to entertain women like that. And I'm the kind of guy that I'm not sexually aroused if I'm not mentally aroused. And maybe that was the mitigating factor, the mitigating component that sort of kind of controlled my youth. And I say controlled my youth. There are many people today that are in their 40s. I'm 45 years old. There are many people in their 40s that can look back at their youth and say, oh my God, I slept around, I did this, but I didn't do that. And I'm not saying that to brag or boast. I'm not saying that to say that I'm better than anybody. I'm just saying that even though I had those urges, I could never engage the urge. I could never partake in the sexual urges that I had because there was always some sort of mental block. If I didn't connect with the girl mentally, then I wasn't aroused. I don't care how fine your body looked. We had to connect mentally. And when I say mental, you can also say spiritually as well. Now, I'm not saying that the person had to be spiritual in terms of the way we view spirituality, like to go to church, pray every day. No, I mean, when you connect mentally, part of the mental is the physical. I mean, part of the mental is the spiritual. The spiritual is the mental. The mental comes from the spiritual. You don't see mental, you don't see spirit, but the mental aspect of a person derives from the spiritual component within them. It's in their soul. So if I didn't connect with the female, I was never into them. And people would look at me, man, you crazy, man. I'll smash that. I remember when I went to Texas Southern University. I mean, they called it the Yard. There were a plethora of females. And I'm not here to, toot my own horn. I'm not saying that I'm not the best looking guy in the world, but I'm not trash either. It's not like I was a unattractive guy, even though I felt at times unattractive. I didn't have the highest self-esteem about myself, but from what other people would tell me about myself, oh, yo, this girl told you this. Oh, look at that boy. Look at pretty boy. I would get that. When I had hair back then, I would make sure I kept my hair cut. Like once a week, I was getting a haircut. My hair stayed cut. No one even knew that my hair could grow. I kept the fade, and I always made sure that whatever I can control about myself, I took full control of it. So I can't control my height. I can't control my skin color. I can't control certain features about me. And I love my height. I love my skin feature, but I'm just trying to tell you there's certain things that we can't change about ourselves. But the things that I could change, like my appearance, what I wore, how I smelled, how my hair looked, going to the gym daily. I've always worked out. Even back then at TSU, I would go to the rec center. They call it the rec center. I would go in there, lift weights, work out, do my thing. I've always been in shape. As a matter of fact, if you go back in Texas Southern University, if you go back to the year, I forgot what year it was, but they did a calendar. This girl who was an aspiring photographer, and mind you, I didn't play college ball. I didn't play college football. I didn't play college basketball. I didn't play college sports. This girl, she went around the campus looking for men that she could put on a calendar. Mr. January, Mr. February, all the way to December. Because my birthday is in November, I was Mr. November. And you had to like pose without a shirt on and stuff like that, So I was in that shoot. I don't know what I did. To let you know that I'm not vain like that. I didn't keep that to brag to people, but I was on that. 12 guys out of the whole campus. Mind you, there are other fit. So that means that I had to be one of the top 12 dudes on the yard, on the campus, so to speak. That was fit, that was in shape, right? So it wasn't like I was an ugly guy or that I couldn't, what you guys say, pull a chick. And guys around me would think that I didn't have game, but I didn't want to spit game. Game is, you're playing games. I was too old for that. My mind was too old for that. I think that I hung around a lot of men in my youth, in my early 20s, that were, and men, I mean, we just mature late. It is, but some men mature a little bit faster. And I think I was one of the ones that matured a little bit faster because I was always looking for somebody that was going to be my future. I wasn't looking for the now moment. Like, oh my God, this girl has a big ass, I want to smash. That was never my thing. Even though I had those urges, but it was controlled by the deeper values that were sown within me. And these values didn't come from my mom and dad. These values came from me. My experiences in life, seeing the things that I don't want and seeing the things that I do want, cultivated that type of value system that I had ingrained within my psyche. So there was no such thing as me letting the head of my pants dictate my actions. Yes, it dictated my actions, but the actions that it dictated is that it prompted me to start to think. So I used two of my heads. I used the head in my pants and I used the head above my shoulder. You have to work together with those. You know, a lot of people say, "Oh, you're thinking with the head in your pants." No, I think with both. I'm a man first. I'm gonna have arousal. I'm not an idiot. I have eyes. If I see a sexy, fine-ass girl, I'm gonna check her out. But even upon checking her out, there comes a time where the head above my shoulder has to come into play. I have to intercede. That has to come in as an intercession, as an intervention, so to speak, as to say, "Hey, Max, you know, Literary Pharaoh is my username, but Maxwell is my government name." So that brain is gonna be like, "Hey, let's rethink this. How does this girl move? How's her character? Who does she hang around with? What are her value systems?" You talk to the girl. If we don't connect mentally, it was difficult. It was difficult for me to even continue the pursuit. And I didn't feel like I was in a position to waste any girl's time. You got to understand that before I went to college, I had a 6-year relationship with a girl in high school. And I guess you could call her my high school sweetheart. So, but you can't really say she's my high school sweetheart because we never got married. But I thought we were. You know, that helped me grow up fast. And I think that it's a catch-22, right? People say, you know, when you go to school, don't get into relationships, just focus on your education, and you can worry about boyfriend, girlfriends when you get into college. I had a girlfriend. My first girlfriend I was a 10th grader. I was a sophomore in high school. You know, her name, I'm not going to mention her name on this video, but she knows who she is. She's married now. She has children. She's moved on and stuff like that. But we were from me being 16 years old. I think I was 15, 16 years old. From then till from sophomore year in high school, sophomore, junior, senior, college, my sophomore year in college, and then it was kind of like my junior year in college that we sort of broke it off because she went to New York to go model. She pursued modeling. I told you guys, like, getting an attractive girl is not a problem for me. That's not it. It's not even a problem. But to other people, it's a problem because people tend to think that the quantity of how many women you have, and I'm speaking from the men's lens, the perspective of a male, or especially young, immature males, we thought that the quantity of the women you get was the value. But back then I was thinking, no, I want quality. I want quality, but not just the looks, but I want this too. You know, I want this. I want your heart. I want your mind. How do you move? Your values. You know, but we broke it off after 6 years. And I was young. There was a lot of things that I wish I could have done better, but she wanted me to move to New York with her. And at that time, my dad was gone. My dad transitioned when I was 15 years old. And it was just my mom, my older sister, and my younger brother. I wasn't going to leave Texas to go to New York. I had to pursue my education. And my mom sometimes would have conversations with my ex-girlfriend at the time. She would say, you know, make sure whatever you do, make sure you get a degree, get your education. And she didn't. She went to New York to model. She pursued that. She's doing she does YouTube videos where she like promotes like products and things like that. But I don't know in terms of her education status. I don't know where it is because we stopped talking. I don't know. That's been years ago. I'm 45 years old now. We were in our early 20s. And Do I regret some of the things that I did back then? Of course, I was young. I was not a perfect man. I wasn't a perfect boy, because I was a boy growing into a man. And there were a lot of things that I could have done better when I look back at it. And I was listening to I had this phase when I was listening to podcasts by Fresh and Fit podcast. But I think his name is Myron Gaines or something like that, and this other guy that they do this podcast together. I don't listen to them anymore because their show became too redundant. It was the same topic. It seemed overkill. Talking to young, immature girls about their worth and things like that. So I kind of got off of that. But I had a phase where I was watching that show, and it made me. The only thing that I got from that is that at the time, with me and my girlfriend when we were younger, she was aspiring to be something bigger. Like, she thought that she would be some sort of supermodel. And the modeling industry is saturated. A lot of, because she was thin, tall, beautiful. She was 5'9". No, she was 5'10", tall, like chocolate skin. Like, she was beautiful. And she was going in the route to be a model. Of course, she never became a supermodel, but I mean, she worked in the modeling industry and got money here and there and did her thing. She's into fashion. But I think that back then, and what resonates to me about what that Fresh and Fit podcast had said is that they said something to the effect of, some girls, when they're younger, because women are very mature, they mature way faster than men. They're looking, you're either the boyfriend that they're looking to be their man, so to speak, or their husband, or you are a placeholder. And what a placeholder means is that for the meantime, you're just a boy toy. You're just a boyfriend that they're keeping. But once they see that you're not elevating yourself to the level that they want you to elevate yourself to, you're gone. And I think that's what happened with me. When she went to New York, she met some other guy that was in the modeling industry. And so they connected, and that was it. You're talking about heartbreak. When she contacted me, she told me that they were intimate together. She actually told me that, but she wasn't telling me in a way to get back at me, or telling me in a way that was vindictive, or she was doing it out of spite. We had a real heart-to-heart conversation, and she told me she met this other guy, that they had done something, but she wasn't saying it in a proud way, like, yeah, I did. No, she was almost embarrassed. But when I look back at it, that's the maturity of a woman. Men, we wouldn't do that. We're too afraid to tell our girl that we've done that. Now, even when she told me this, we had broke it off, right? But it still was kind of early, right? It was early, but which makes me believe that she was probably already talking to the guy while we were together, because she would occasionally leave New York and come visit me. But I think during those visits, when we were still together, I think that she already started kind of talking to him, which is fine, which is fine when I look back at it now, and I'm glad everything happened the way that it did. And she told me, and it hurt me. I mean, I've never been hurt so hard in my life, because even though we weren't together, some part of me kept thinking that, well, maybe when she's not with me, she'll miss me and we'll end up, getting back together. But it didn't happen that way. And it's funny, because when she told me this, it wasn't even pride or ego, though. After she told me, I had to preserve myself and think of the bigger picture. I remember this like yesterday, guys. I was in my mom's house. I was in the foyer area by the stairs. Immediately you walk into my mom's house. I remember I had a flip phone. I had that Razor phone, the flip phone. She told me that. I said, well. Now, when she told me this, this is my response. After she told me that, she says, oh, yeah. I think she was in the bathtub at the time. I heard water. She was like, oh, if he hears me talking to you, he may be upset or something. And she was talking kind of low. So I'm thinking, like, is a guy in the house or something? I was, And she said, yeah, we did it. We had sex, whatever. I said, well, just make sure that you protect yourself, okay? Then I became father, just like that. I went from in a millisecond, I went from being a boyfriend to an ex to a father figure in that quick. Because when she told me that, I didn't see that coming. I knew she was talking to somebody, but I didn't know they did that already. You see, as a man, we were very visual. All I can think about is, man, this guy was having sex with the girl that I was with, so, when she said that, I was hurt, but I didn't want to show her that I was hurt. But it wasn't out of, maybe you could say it was pride, I guess, but it wasn't. I don't think it was pride. I think that I knew that the end was imminent. I just knew that I couldn't escape it. There was no need for me to fight for her. She was already gone. It's almost like when you have a loved one, and I hopefully no one's ever dealt with this before, but let's act like it's a movie. You're watching a movie, and I'm going to say movie because I don't want to wish that upon anybody or even use that as a hypothetical. But let's say you're watching a movie, right? And there's a person who's dying of some sort of terminal disease. They're dying, and the family members come around the dying person, and they all say their last greetings to the person, say their farewells, and it's something that is inevitable. Like, the person's gonna die. There's nothing you can do about it, and everyone's saying their last goodbyes. That's what it felt like on the phone. When she said that, that was the seal. That was the nail in the coffin to let me know that it's over. That I can't go back. I can't go back. Because we were together for so long, 6 years. I've been married for about 7 years now. So, to be honest with you guys, that relationship is nearly as long as my marriage. So when you're talking about growing up, that helped me grow so fast. So when I was at TSU, I wasn't looking for sex. I been there, done that. I mean, I had a girlfriend for 6 years. I had sex continually. If you want to count how many times I had sex, I don't know. I didn't have many women, but I had sex a lot with one person. But when I got to college, because you would think that, oh, he doesn't have a girlfriend anymore, he's gonna run wild. No, I didn't do that, and things were never the same after that. I didn't know how to necessarily function. Actually, I didn't know, because this was an unknown area for me. All I knew was her, and I say this, losing my father when I was 15 was sudden. That was a loss that helped me grow too. Losing her hurt. Yeah, it hurt. I'll be honest with you. At that time, it hurt because I was like, damn. But I had to move on. There wasn't any animosity though. I never hated her. I just knew that I couldn't be who she wanted me to be. Like, I wasn't gonna move to New York with you and abandon my mom and abandon my family, because that's what it would entail. And then at the time, I just got out of high school. I was 2 years into. I was at a community college at the time, so I went to 2 years community college before I went to Texas Southern University. I went to Houston Community College, HCC. So I went to HCC for 2 years before I transferred to Texas Southern University. So I wasn't gonna leave that, and I didn't know how to, how am I gonna start anew in a new state without the support of my family? And I think that's probably where she cut ties with me. She probably thought okay, he's too much of a mama's boy, and I don't think I was. But maybe that guy she met was more independent than I was, and it goes back to that I was a placeholder boyfriend. Because if the love was truly there, and I was that guy that she always looked to be with, then I don't think she would have done that. But she's not a bad woman. She's not a bad person for doing what she did. I think that the industry that she got into, you're gonna meet people. You're gonna meet other attractive people. I wasn't there. You can't expect a young woman who's out and about getting asked out by different men to just be loyal to a guy in Texas. I mean, she had no reason to be loyal to me because at that time we weren't even talking. We had already broken it off. The long distance relationship was hard to do. Yeah, so that's what happened, man. But yeah, losing my father when I was 15 and losing her were two things in my past that shaped me. Pain shapes us, folks. We have to embrace the pain. That's why when I talk the way I talk, I'm talking to you guys from experience. I'm not telling you what I think, I'm telling you what I know. And simply put, that's just what happened. And then there will be times it was for years, like from even when I got married, my first wife, she would try to look up my ex-wife or something. It was weird, man. My ex-wife was I'm not gonna use the word crazy. She was who she was, but it was just a weird relationship, man. She would always try to like make me look at my ex-girlfriend, like tell me, you know she's doing this now, she's working at Starbucks now, and I never wanted to even look at her image. That's how painful the loss was, that I never wanted to even look at her. I never Googled her, nothing. It wasn't until about a year ago. It wasn't until about a year ago where I was going to my sister's house, and coincidentally, my sister's house that she was living in at the time, it was a house that her and her husband were renting. It was in a neighborhood that my ex-girlfriend from high school used to live in. So one day I was going over there to my sister's house, and it just started to bring back memories. I was like, wow, I remember when I used to ride here to come pick her up to go to the movies, and I was having all these. And I said, you know what, man? I'm gonna look her up. That was the first time I looked her up. So I'm 45 years old now, right? So it means that from the age of about, let's say, from the age of about 22, I say, till 43. Do the math. 22 years later, that's the first time I cared to look her up. This is after we broke up. You might say, Literary Pharaoh, like, why did you do that? Like, why did you wait so long? Well, I waited so long because seeing her would remind me of what I lost. You know what I mean? It was painful, man. I didn't want to look her up. I didn't care. I was like, you know what? I gotta make sure that this is over. I wasn't gonna be one of those guys that's following his ex. I don't have an Instagram. I don't have a TikTok. Only thing I have is a YouTube channel, and that's it. I intentionally don't want to get Instagram, or I never had Facebook. Even in college, when Facebook was popular back then, I never got it. I've always been a person that moves to the beat of my own drum. And that's the way I've always operated. So yeah, that's what hold on, something's going on here. It's a police. Why is this police running? Okay, I see. Anyway, something's going on. But yeah. So that's when I knew I was over her. I'm not saying that it took me 20-something years to get over her. It just means that I just never felt like looking her up. But she was out of sight, out of mind. There'll be some times I would think about, I wonder what she's doing and things like that. But, I wish her well, and I'm happy that she's happy. Because true love doesn't try to keep somebody from what they love. You know what I mean? She loved modeling, and she loves her husband. She has her YouTube channel. I follow her on YouTube. She has a her YouTube channel is called Nikki B. Nikki B. She does she like models clothes and things like that. And at her age, she's still, I mean, you can tell she's 40 something. Imagine how she was. I mean, she's still beautiful now. You can just imagine how she was when she was younger. So people would always tell us when we were together, they were like, y'all look like brothers and sisters. It was funny though. People would say that we looked alike. And it got to a point, I think, that when you're with somebody for so long, you end up almost looking like that person. Yeah, but yeah. So that song Lovesick, it resonates with me because I've always been lovesick. Even before her, that's why I was able to stay with her for so long. Like I said, I had friends that would go clubbing, partying, and sleep around with different women, but I never did that. But sometimes when we go through certain things, I think the path that we take sort of gets us prepared for what's to come. And whatever person you are, there's no blueprint to live a certain life. I think certain people, because I was always lovesick, I took a risk, and it burned me, but it was a good burn. Those high school years were amazing. The moments I had with her were amazing, and as much of the good that existed within that relationship, there's an equal part of the pain that matches all the good, that neutralizes me. It turned me stoic, and it made me who I am, coupled with other things too. I mean, that's just an element of it, but it all did. It all just made me who I am. Yeah. And it's funny, even when I try to move on, even when I tried to move on, I was dating some other girl later, she would still try to call me, but I would ignore her calls. Because I was angry, I was in my feelings, because when she told me she had slept with that guy. And I don't know, but I think that was the best thing that I could have done, because it was too hurtful. And I knew when a woman, okay, and I know there are different opinions about this. There are different opinions. I think when a woman, I think, because I'm not an expert, I think when a woman sleeps with another man, she's already given, her heart is already removed from you. When a guy does it, I'm not saying that it should be permissible. I'm not saying that it's okay for men to sleep around, but we don't have an emotional attachment, most men. But a man like me, I'll be more likely the one to have the emotional attachment if I sleep around. Not to say that I'm a female, no, because I'm not wired to sleep around with many women. My temperament's different. It depends on what kind of man. So that's why we always have to contextualize our judgments, or to contextualize our assumptions, or even when we have particular worldviews, we have to make sure that we're detailed with it, and don't make the mistake of painting a broad brush, or using a broad brush to label something, or say all women do this or all men do that. I'm the man that if I sleep around with another woman, then my heart's already gone. I can't, because the way I'm wired, right? Intimacy means something to me. Some men, it doesn't. They can sleep around with another woman and still say they love their wife. I'm the kind of man that if I sleep around with another woman, I can't truly say I love my wife, because at that moment that I sleep around with that other woman, my heart's already left you. But I think most women are wired the way that I'm wired, right? So I think once she told me that she had slept with that guy, I've never been a person to compete. I tell people all the time, I'm very confident in myself. I'm very sure of myself. Competition means that you're trying to prove that you're better than somebody. I would never do that. You know, if any woman puts me in a position where I have to compete with another man, I'm not competing. I think that if you see me for who I am and you like what you see, then I'm the prize. But if I have to compete, then I've already lost. So when she kept calling me, I would ignore her calls. And I would tell the girl that I was talking to at the time. She said, "You're not gonna pick up?" I'm like, "Yeah, she's trying to call me, but I'm not gonna pick up though." I don't know what she wanted. I think she wanted to talk to me. I think she wanted to, I don't know if she wanted to, you know how people say, I need closure. I don't know what she needed, but I know that the last time we spoke, after she told me she slept with that guy, and I said, make sure you wear a condom and protect yourself. Make sure he wears a condom and you protect yourself. And when I told her that, she was shocked because she didn't expect that response. And I didn't say anything else after that. I was like, okay, be careful, okay? I was like, all right. She's like, but you're not mad? I'm like, I said, you made your decision. I mean, you just be careful. And I was hurt, but I didn't show her that I was hurt. And I think, I'm not saying she told me to hurt me, but I think that me not having a hurt response, she probably felt like, damn, this guy's cold. But I'm not cold. I had to protect myself from myself. And I didn't want her to see that side of me. And I think that probably was what made her more attracted to me, because she kept calling me after that. You would think, you're way in New York, you met this other guy, he's attractive too, because I think he's modeled too. And I think that he's a friend, he's Nigerian. I think he's not, he's French, but he has African, he's from Africa, African descent. And I'm thinking you moved on. You're in another state. I'm way in Texas and you're way up north in New York. So why you're still calling me? You know why? Because I never, looking back at it now, I can say that. But at the moment, I wasn't trying to play games. I was really just trying to guard my heart. But I think you become more attractive as a man when you don't act like you need her. But I did need her. It hurt me as hell. But once she crossed that line, I couldn't go back. And even if I wanted to go back, it still would happen again because we're distant. No, listen to me, guys. No relationship is going to work if you're distant. Relationship means connection, not just verbal connection, but physical connection. You got the touch, the feel, being with that person one-on-one, not doing FaceTime videos or talking to them on the phone. That's not the same thing. You have to be there with that person. And we were young. To sustain a long-distance relationship while you're young, it's hard. It's not like we had children together or we weren't married. Boyfriend, girlfriends doesn't mean anything in this world today. Hell, even married couples don't mean. You have married couples that are sleeping around with people. So it was going to be hard to sustain a relationship like that from long distance. And yeah, it was going to be difficult. So I never answered. She called numerous times, man. But I think that she got the picture and she just quit. I think that she moved on. And I believe that she kept calling because she was like, he don't care. Women like men who don't care about them, who don't show that they care about them. My mom used to tell me this, and I thought that it didn't make sense, but it does make sense. She always told me this. She says, she would call me by my government name. She would say, Maxwell, if you are with a woman, do not be all over them. Don't be following them like you need them. Women don't like that. You must give them space. Do your own thing. Like, do not be following women, calling them every minute, asking where they are at, trying to do something with them all the time. They don't respect that. They don't care. She would tell me that. And at the time I was younger then. I was like in my teenager. I'm like, but I thought a girl would like it if you always want to be around her. No. They chase what they can. Men do it too. We love a challenge. We love the woman that's not easy. We respect the woman that's not easy. We don't respect the woman that's easy. The woman that you can just get and put in the bed and have sex with, we don't respect that. We oftentimes respect the challenge. Is the hunter's mindset. The hunt means more when you have to work for the food. If the hunt is easy, you may discard some of your food. You may not eat it all. But if you have to work hard for it, you're going to make sure you scrape the plate. It's true. When I didn't act like I needed it, but it wasn't even an act. I was trying to literally move on. And I hadn't moved on. I still had feelings for her, but I couldn't, because I knew that I would be hurting myself again. I had to protect myself. The feeling that I felt when she told me that she had slept with that guy, I didn't want to feel that again, because I knew that what's to stop her from doing it again? Let's say I did talk to her again and we decided to make things better, right? And get back together again. I'll always be looking over my shoulder, looking around to see if she's doing something, looking at her phone. I remember one time she came to visit me at my mom's house and her phone rang and she took the phone call outside. That's when I knew. I'm like, okay, she's talking to somebody else. This is before she told me she slept with the guy. That's when I knew, okay, she must be talking to somebody, because usually if it's about modeling, she would just talk on the phone. If it was about a gig or whatever, if it was her mom or dad calling or anybody, she would just call and she would talk to them. But she left, went to go talk to him. And this is, mind you, after we just had sex. So I mean, she was sort of diabolical though. That's kind of diabolical. Like I'm having sex with my, and at that time we were kind of off and on. That's why I said we broke it off. But when she would come back, we would do our thing. But I still think that she was still talking to that guy. And I think at the moment she told me that she's sleeping with him, I think she just wanted to let me know, because she didn't want to be labeled as some sort of hoe that's sleeping with two guys at the same time. And I think she just told me to see my response. But protect yourself, be careful. That's all I said. And after that, I was done. I was done. But like I said, we weren't made to be together, because she is my Nigerian background. I'm very into a woman that's homey. Homey meaning that you're not high maintenance. She's a little bit on the high maintenance side, but not in a negative way. She loves the makeups. She loves to be spoiled. She loves to be taken out. If you watch her Nikki B video, she's always out. Like, she likes that. I can't keep up with that. My income wouldn't even allow me to do that. Her husband must have money. He probably spoils her, which is good for her. She met somebody that matches her energy, but I wouldn't be able to keep up with her. The fact that she even wanted me to go to New York with her, I'll be constantly following her. And she wouldn't even respect me if I did that. Women want you to build your own, and they want to be part of what you built as a man. Me following her to New York would be me following her dreams. That's her dream, you know? But if she respected me enough and wanted to be with me that bad, she would have stayed in Houston and just made it work. But I don't expect her to give up her dream. So that would be selfish of me. That's why I couldn't force her to stay. I didn't want her to go to New York. We argued. No, we didn't argue. We had a strong conversation. I was like, "What? Why do you want to go?" She said, "Well, I told you ever since that's all I wanted to do." And she's right. When the whole time we were dating in high school, she always talked about her dream of being a model. I just didn't think that she would actually go to New York. When her dad got a new job in Tampa, she already had to move anyway to go to Tampa. So into her head, she was like, well, I'm going to be moving anyway. I might as well pursue my stuff in New York. So I don't think the relationship would have worked anyway, because her family moved to Tampa, unless she stayed and lived with me. Because at the time I was living with my mom. 5-bedroom house, 2-story. It was just me and my mom. My brother was off in college and my sister was out the house. It was just me and my mom. So that's what it would have been. But yeah. But yeah, man. That's why I'm loved. That's why that song resonates with me, man. That's why it resonates with me. And my marriage, I'm married now, 3 kids. My marriage is a byproduct. The success of my marriage is a byproduct of all the pains that I've gone through, right? Even the ex-wife that I had that put me through hell. And I'm not sitting here to say that I'm a victim. I'm not playing victim. Like I said, there are many things that I've done in the past that I regret, that I wish I could have done better. But I've never been the guy that you would say is a bad guy in terms of putting my hands on a woman, cheating on a woman, even to the point where when my ex-wife, we were married for like 4 years. When I left her, I left her I filed divorce papers. I had to get out of there because I was literally dying in that relationship. People would go around like wondering what happened. And it's such a small world. My wife, one of my wife's good friends is a friend. Okay, how can I put this? One of my wife's good friend, her name is, let's say her name is Linda. I'm not gonna say her real name on this video. Linda is a friend of my wife. Linda has a sister, an older sister, who was a close friend of my ex-wife. You see how the world is very small. So while me and my current wife were courting, I don't date. At the time I was courting because I was trying to see who my wife was gonna be, right? Because I wasn't getting any younger. One day me and my current wife were having a conversation. This is at the time we were just courting. And she says, "Oh, my friend Linda, she says she knows you." I said, "She knows me? How?" She says that your ex-wife was friends with her sister. I said, "Oh," and she named her Linda's sister's name. And I know Linda's sister's name because my ex-wife would mention her name because they were friends. And I was like, "Oh." And so I said, "What did she say? What did Linda say?" So my wife says, she says, at the time she wasn't my wife, but when I was courting her, she says that that the relationship didn't work out, but no one knows what happened. But it wasn't like you didn't do anything though. They said that you didn't do anything bad, but it just didn't work out. I said, "Yeah." Because usually when a relationship doesn't work, is what did the man do? It's always the man's fault. Either the man, if a man puts his hand on a woman, he's the worst man ever. A woman could beat the shit out of a man, but you dare not raise your hand to that woman, or else you're gonna go down as the worst man ever, because men are stronger than women. You don't put your hands on women. How about we just don't put our hands on each other? All right. My ex, she hit me so hard she cut my eye open. I just grabbed my stuff and left. I told her one day, I said, you know I'm stronger than you, right? And me holding off is not me being weak. I can kill you if I wanted to, but I'm making a choice to leave because I don't want to harm you. But she would hit me though. I knew I had to get out of that relationship when I started to fear for my life, and that flight or fight would kick in, and one day I would do something to hurt her or damn near kill her. I would probably unalive her. Not intentionally, but out of sheer anger. My Nigerian blood runs hot. Don't misconstrue a man who's mild-mannered for weakness. Don't think that because I'm not quick to anger that I don't get angry. And don't think that because you're hitting me and I'm not hitting you back that I'm weak. That's a sign of strength, because I'm holding back what I should do naturally. Impulsively, I should defend myself and knock you the fuck out, but I'm not. I'm gonna leave and take the L and take this ass whooping from you, even though I know I can whoop you. So yeah, man, it was bad. So she said, her friend told her, yeah, he didn't do anything though. When she said she's talking about me. Because rumors in the Nigerian community, people talk. "Oh, do you know that man was beating his wife? Do you know he was cheating on her? Do you know he had other women? Do you know he was sleeping with a woman in the church?" Like, people spread. You can't spread a rumor about a guy who doesn't do anything. You're not gonna see me in any place to point the finger at me for doing something wrong. I don't put myself in those spaces. Too smart for that. So yeah, man. I didn't do anything. So when I'm telling you the things that I'm telling you, I'm not telling you that to say that I'm a victim and everybody else is bad and I'm perfect. I'm not perfect. But there are things that I've gone through in my life where I didn't make the best decision, which put me in a position to be some sort of a victim. But I'm not a victim though. Because I'm always be leery of those people who tell you stories and they're always the victim in the story. I don't want you guys to view me as, oh, don't feel sorry for me. Because I wasn't a perfect boyfriend to my ex, girlfriend in high school. I wasn't. I was immature. I wasn't as mature as she needed me to be. I didn't match her energy in terms of doting on her, spending money. I didn't do all those things. I'm not saying that makes me a bad guy, but I didn't fit what she wanted, and I resisted. I was stubborn, you know. I never put my hands on her. I'm talking about my ex-girlfriend in high school. I never touched her. I remember one time we were in the car and we were driving, we were arguing, and she mushed me. She like pushed my head, and I turned and I turned to her, and my friend was in the back seat. I guess my friend thought I was gonna hit her, and he stuck his hand between us. You know, I was gonna turn and put my hand, like, you know, do this to her. I wasn't gonna hit her. But yeah, I've never been a person to put my hands on women, but I've never had to. The only violent relationship that I was in was my ex-wife. The ex-girlfriend thing, that happened one time. We were arguing and she kind of pushed my head in the car, but that was the only time she put her hands on me. But we weren't physical like that, like in terms of physically fighting. Yeah. So Lovesick, man, that's why that song resonates with me. And I'm gonna play it one more time before I leave this video. Just sharing with you guys a personal story, a personal stuff of mine, and speaking of my current relationship now, the reason why my marriage right now is, I don't believe in perfection, but I would say that, relatively speaking, it's perfect. I have a wife that's very wifey material, meaning that she has a feminine spirit. She is low meaning that she's feminine. Doesn't mean she can't get loud. If she disciplines the kids, she does what she needs to do. But she knows how to, when I come in the house, she knows how to get underneath me. And she doesn't do it submissively, like I'm submitting. She does it naturally. Her natural position is of submission. She respects me. All men want respect. I don't care if she loves me. She respects me. She thinks that I'm so intelligent. She looks up to me so much. And that's what men want. That's why if you're a man, I encourage you to date a woman that's younger. My wife is 7 years younger than me. When she met me, she was already looking up to me. We met at work. I was in a position, my status at the job was high, and she looked up to me already. A woman has to respect you first, man. Stop looking for them to love you. You have to have something for them to respect. Either you're wealthy, you have a position, your status, you have something that not that they want it, but they want to be part of what you have. And because I was so popular at work, she wanted to be part of that. She wanted to have some of that. That's what attracted her to me. I'm not saying, of course, my looks too, but looks is not even half. Looks is a part of it. Maybe looks is half of it. The other half of it is your status as a man. As a woman, your looks are almost everything, but not for me as a man. Your looks is a lot, but your mindset, your value system, your character, all those things start to, come into play. So I'm going to play the song one more time, Lovesick, by Mariah the Scientist. And I know I'm getting this, they're gonna copyright the shit out of this video, which I don't care, because I'm not making money off of this stuff anyway. And I would hate to make a living off of YouTube, because you become a slave of it. You have to like do videos. So doing videos is not a job. I just do this for fun, and I like to just share certain things with the people that listen to me. Okay, there it is. All right, last time. Lovesick by Mariah the Scientist.
Baby, I wish it were different. My words, my visions, our world beginning. Now it is splitting in two. Even when I think I suffer, I think of your kids, your mother. Then I have to come in, a lover. When I think of how it must feel to be yours, nobody gets in my heart
All right, guys. Literary Pharaoh signing off. Peace. Leave a comment. Tell me what you guys think. All right. Bye.